Tonight, I want to talk to you guys about really maximizing the use of the systems and the tools that you have at your disposal. It's absolutely crucial that each and every one of you realize and utilize what you've got. And we've been noticing a lot of people in 3.0, some people are really utilizing this stuff and some people aren't. So what I want to do is just basically give you a walkthrough of the various systems that you have at your disposal and talk about using these tools in the context of running your agency and doing sales, doing marketing, and just, running your company. So to start, we have the partner portal up here. And the partner portal, a lot of people don't realize everything that it contains. It's incredibly packed with training resources. And by the, judging by the watch rates, a lot of people are watching a lot of video, but a lot of people aren't. So I wanted to just go through this with you and just talk about what's in here. All of you have gone through setup, obviously. So you've gotten your website up and you've gotten, these resources online, and we'll get to them in just a bit. But you have, tremendous training on each and every service. Everybody should be utilizing this stuff to the max. So, I'm going to click on business listings here. Let's take a look at what's inside here for business listings, just as an example, right? Because this is the stuff that you kind of have to have this down to be able to sell to somebody, right? You need to understand what's in a business listing and what resources you have to be able to sell it to someone. So when you go in here, right, this explains exactly how that service works. Now you have separate training inside of Sales and Success Center for your salespeople to get them up to speed, but you have access to this. And this stuff here, this is in depth from the other perspective, right? It's not just from selling it, right? You're not looking at it just from a sales perspective. You're looking at it from, how all the mechanics and all the pieces and parts work because you're running your agency, right? So you guys have, a lot, kind of like a bird's eye view of exactly what's included in this. So, going through here, we're explaining every single site. And some of these sites, if I were in your shoes, guys, I would want to know, what these sites are, what's important to what industry. Because if you look up different industries, some of these are incredibly important, and other ones are more important to other businesses. Right? Like Yahoo, that's kind of a general purpose directory, right? Bing is general purpose directory. But when you go into like Foursquare, you go into Hot Frog, you go into some of these. So, this is something you need to look at. Take a look, get yourself familiarized with that. Understand how distribution works. You've got Info Group, Axiom, and Factual, and then Newstar, which was Newstar and Localese kind of like they merged together. But these are the big data aggregators. Know that. Go through here. It's going to explain exactly how it's going to work in the microsite that they get. It explains how the builder works, how the dashboard, how they're going to have tremendous reporting. Go through here and read this stuff and, familiarize yourself with it. It explains the difference between new business listings and business listings, right? New business listings includes Google My Business. Business listings doesn't. Go down here, you have all this stuff, basically everything I'm telling you right now in video format, right? You can go through and you can watch these vids, and it's going to explain to you how these business listings, the difference between the two, and it's going to explain to you how to sell it, right? So it's really important information. Key selling points. And the reason I'm going through business listings here, I'm not going to go through every single one. This is the same for every single service, right? It's all laid out for you how to sell it, how the onboarding process works, the information that we need, activation of that service, and everything about it. And then down here at the bottom, you have the business listings resources. So you have your onboarding form, you have the sales and marketing tools, you have important FAQs. And the FAQs, this is an area I don't think many people are really looking at. But when you go to the FAQs, right, it brings you into Intercom, which is another system that you really want to familiarize yourself with. And guys, Intercom, when I tell you the time that was spent to set this up and to provide this resource, it was tremendous. Intercom is absolutely jam-packed. And of course, it's accessible up here under resources, Rocket Driver Knowledgebase, right? This system right here, the Knowledgebase that we have, it's so filled with information. And I'm going to go through this and let's click around a little bit together, right? We go in here, we're presented with a variety of different sections within the Rocket Driver Knowledgebase, right, which is powered by Intercom. This system right here, you have huge amounts of stuff inside here. how many of you guys that are on right now, if you could just type in chat, how many of you guys have really gone in here and downloaded everything and looked around, right? I'm going to send you guys the link right now because, maybe you're logged in or not, but I'm going to post it in chat. Everybody really needs to go in here and take a look at everything that's inside this system. Because what you've got in here, when you dig into it a little bit, like let's just say overview of our digital services, we'll click there and take a look at what's inside here. You have an explanation of just absolutely everything. You have tons of downloads, tremendous amount of videos. Any of these that I click on, right? Listing, distribution, go into here. You get a component by component breakdown of absolutely everything. FAQs, brochures, every single service and everything is inside here. And it's all very accessible. Now, you may be thinking, well, I have to click around. You don't really have to click around at all. You have the search function at the top. Let's say that you're in a rush. You're looking for information on SEO, right? Or you're looking for a download for SEO. If you type in SEO download, hit enter, boom, you're going to get all the downloads we've got right there. The cheat sheet for SEO, customer voice, explanation of local marketing and how SEO works there. This stuff will all just populate and pop up because it's a very, very, very granularly searchable system. It's a really good system. And if you just type in presentations, right? Let's just go here and type that in. You're going to get like product-specific sales presentations. That pops up. And what are these? These are actually downloadable, right? I can grab any one of these. And actually, I grabbed one before, and I grabbed this, right here for reputation management. You guys can see, well, you can't see on my screen right now, but I went in here and I grabbed this reputation management presentation. It's really good. They're all really good. And they're all rebrandable to your agencies. What I would suggest all you guys do with this, as a system is go into this system and, grab out all the stuff that you want rebranded. Like if you're salespeople, you're meeting with your sales reps every day and, your salespeople are pushing on this service or pushing on that or whatever they're marketing. Go ahead and rebrand the documents. It's incredibly simple. Just open them up inside Microsoft Word, put your logo in there, rebrand this stuff, and, begin to utilize it. You can always email it or send it out to, your sales reps. And this stuff is really, really good for doing the stuff that you're doing, right? It's for making sales. You've got so many different things inside here, website marketing materials. When you go in this section, look at this stuff. We've got all these presentations that go over specific features. I had a person ask me last week, Jake, what do you advise for selling a site? And I tell them, well, you know what? Each and every situation is different. Some situations you're dealing with people who, have a platform already and they're very entrenched with it. And you have to, go up against it, like with this Our Platform versus WordPress. Other situations, people don't have a site already, or they have a site, but they're not in any way, addicted to that platform. They're looking at it and they're thinking to themselves, well, this new platform that you're pitching me, can you tell me some information about it? Why I should go with you? Well, you've got right here, this presentation, why our platform rocks. Mobile editing, explanation that they can go in and, they have that ability to edit their site, run a blog. There's so many things here. There's so much stuff. Let's see here. Rich is asking, so this isn't already available in the Sales and Success Center? No, this is additional stuff, Rich. That's why I'm bringing it up to you, because this is additional stuff, right? Not everything is inside Sales and Success Center. That's what I'm telling you. Not everything is there. We select the best, but we put out a lot more information. There's a lot more stuff that you can have accessible to rebrand for your agency that you can utilize. You can send out to your salespeople. You can utilize in a million different ways at your business. So we put, scripts and tons of stuff that not everybody wants, right, guys? Because understand this, we're putting together the pack for Sales and Success Center, right? We have to put stuff up there that's applicable to everybody. And we have to make choices because we can't just, pack it filled, right? We put in there the stuff that's going to train them, educate them, and get them to sell, right? We're not going to put stuff in there where they download a presentation and, hey, it's not branded to anything. This doesn't make sense, but we make it available to you. Because what we're trying to do is we're trying to give you guys, all of you, the maximum amount of materials possible. So inside, of Intercom in this system, you have a huge amount of stuff that's accessible that you can, grab and download and use in all kinds of creative ways for marketing. Brochures, presentations, scripts, it's endless. Really, when you dig into this system, right, You type in, like, just as an example, the videos, right? This will give you, let's see here, customer voice marketing video. This is a video where you can go in and you can grab this vid and you can just go down here. Let me see it. Go over here and you can grab the embed link, right? And you can actually email this video out to explain to people how customer voice works. Now, this video as well, I believe, is also on your site, right? A lot of these videos are on your sites, but inside Intercom, you can actually grab them, not only watch them yourself to learn, but utilize them or even download them. And, you can stick them up and you can stick them up different places, right? You can utilize them that way. So we're trying to always err on the side of letting you guys decide, how to utilize the resources that are available, right? It's a very, very important thing to know how much is really there. And also for educating yourself, if you're sitting there and you're stumped and you got a question, now our support's very responsive and it does a really good job. But let's say, you're sitting there and you're out in the field, you're about to go into a demo and somebody asks you a question or you have a question about a specific feature, you can always go to Intercom, pretty much always, and type in, for example, website backend or whatever, and it's going to pop up answers. Right within here, this is going to give an explanation. Like if it were about personalization, you can go in here and read about it, and it's all laid out. Very, very in-depth stuff, common questions. And at the bottom of almost everything in here, right, like this is about website personalization. Basically, at the bottom of everything, there's downloads, and there's even more links within them to more detailed information, right? This is an explanation of personalization, but you'll see if you look at my screen, I mean, there's a huge amount of stuff in here. All over the place, proposals, contracts, scripts. Let's look at scripts for a moment, right? If I just type in script and I punch that in, what I have, tons of different scripts on different types of different services, right? StoryTap, an explanation of that, which, StoryTap is a component of reputation management. Over here, street level sales deck and script, full product suite. There's tons of stuff. I click on that. Right. This is for, like, if you were pitching somebody sort of the full boat, right? You wanted to sell somebody a multiple services, right? Because there's situations where you're going to sell someone a website and SEO. Well, how do you do that? Well, right here, explanation, videos that go over it, videos you can grab, downloadable PDFs. There's so much stuff inside here that really I could spend hours going over this system with you guys. What's really important, though, right now, right here, is not that I spend a huge amount of time sort of clicking through this stuff, although I'll look at some other things in a moment, but that you guys understand that it's a resource that you can use, you can dig through yourself and look for, anything that piques your curiosity. Because this system, I mean, honestly, guys, Allison spent probably 2 or 3 months putting together everything that's in here, just going through. Because remember, we've been in business 10 years, guys, right? We have so many presentations, so many scripts, so much content, and it had to be combed through, organized, collated, copy edited, just put together properly so you guys could parse it and utilize it, because there's a lot of stuff. It's all in here, everything. Yeah, Rich, this stuff that's in here, it doesn't have our logo in anything, right? This is all white labeled. You can go through this. Rich is asking if it's white labeled. You can go through and you can use this stuff, rebrand it. A lot of stuff doesn't even need to be rebranded because it's not designed that way. It's not like branded in design. You could use it right after downloading it. But keep in mind, there's so many different things here of a wide variety. There's PDFs, there's zip archives that are filled with stuff. There's PowerPoint presentations here. There's Excel documents. There's tons of Word docs. There's vids. There's just so much stuff inside of this system. And yeah, I mean, a lot of folks, yeah, Jim's saying, a lot of people that he didn't really use it. Yeah, a lot of people didn't use it. It's a system. That's why I wanted to kind of do a webinar and put this in here, because as a component of your overall business, this doesn't apply so much to like your sales reps, right? It's not a tool to educate a sales rep, but it's a tool to educate you. And it's a tool that you can, a resource rather, not even a tool, a resource where you can go in there and there's just tons of things you need, right? You need brochures, you need flyers. Like if you want to go print out a flyer, right? You can just go in here, type flyer, and you can, oops, sorry about that. You see my wonderful typing skills. You type in, oops, not flyer, brochure, right? You type in brochure and you're going to get tons and tons and tons of these brochures where you can, grab these, print them out, and go to a local print shop, spend $10, have a pile of them printed, and you can drop them off. You can use them for marketing. If you're attending a trade show, you can, go ahead and grab these, throw your, your logo, just literally a copy paste of your logo into one of these, and, you're off to the races. You're done. You're set up. And, we've got this, if you notice, everything that's in here, it's really for all services. It's not, like, oh, we're putting stuff in there for one service or another. We're trying to be, really, really all encompassing. Can we use these videos you guys created in ads? Absolutely, Asher. That's the whole point. You can use them any way that you see fit. Any way you see fit. It's completely, you guys have paid for it. It's yours, right? That's how it works. So you can use the stuff that you find in here for pretty much anything. We don't care. I mean, we encourage it. So, yeah. And, a lot of the systems that we give you access to, I'm going to go off here and we're going to take a look at, the system right here. Like we're in Sales and Success Center. This system here, right, it has so much capability, guys. There's so many capabilities of this. And I know there's a lot of people that are really going to town using the system. Amazing, right? But there's some of you guys that aren't using certain features that you really should be using. A lot of you are working real hard to market. You're going out there, you're pitching lots of people, you're getting on the phones, you're hitting the ground hard. You need to maximize it. And you have the tools to really maximize your work right inside of here, right? I mean, first of all, you have the screen sharing app at the top. People ask me, Jake, how do I use the screen sharing app? It's very simple. Right inside here, you just literally, you open Google Chrome, you have to run Chrome. You just click on it, pops up, and then you can share a link and you're sharing your screen with whoever. It takes 2 seconds. Very, very useful tool. You don't need to use Zoom. You don't need to pay for anything. I mean, if you've got a system here that's completely unlimited, you're on the phone with prospects, you can use this, to your advantage tremendously. And then inside here, right, there's so many other things like these campaigns, marketing automation. I can't tell you guys how important marketing automation is. Those of you who are our partners right now, right, guys? A lot of you heard about us because you registered somewhere, you attended a webinar, you heard about Rocket Driver, but then marketing automation systems continued to email you, right? Because we weren't going to reach out again and again and again, but we have systems that do it, right? Then those emails eventually got a lot of you to take the step to then maybe come back to a webinar, speak to me, speak to Tom, and then you became partners with us and it changed your life. You have to go and utilize this system. It's really simple. You have a prospect in here. Let's say Angelo's was my prospect. This is, of course, fictional account. I go in here to Angelo. I'm talking to Angelo on the phone. We have a demonstration. We have a meeting, whatever. So I go in here and I put it in the notes. I log my call, whatever. At the end, I take the simple step of clicking right up here, and then I start a campaign on this guy, right? So I click over here and I say, hey, I talked to him on the phone about, reputation management. So what I'll do, boom, I'll click there. I'll go ahead and just submit. And what this thing will do, and of course you want to make sure all the information's put in here correctly. What it's going to do is, boom, there's going to be emails going out to him explaining the service. Every single mail that guy gets on a slow rolling basis is going to have within it my contact information, my business's phone number, and all that stuff is set up automatically, right? When you guys get set up in here. So now, without even knowing about it, you're marketing to that guy again and again and again, or gal or whoever. The point is, you're doing marketing automation. You're using the system to go out there and to accomplish your goal. And then, of course, another thing with this is using the reports, right? A lot of folks are using the reports just fine. Snapshot Reports, as you know, there's a fee associated and they do a really good job. They're an amazing resource. I absolutely love Snapshot Reports, and these do a wonderful job particularly for closing. But some of you use them in some of your marketing, and that's fine. If you're going after a bigger client or whatever, that's great. But you have listing scans. You have a completely free report that you can use absolutely unlimited, that you don't get charged a penny for, that you can be using for marketing. You can have your reps run one of these on every single lead, everyone they talk to, and literally send these things out. And yeah, okay, email marketing, it doesn't work the best, right? Email marketing works, It really works in the context of marketing automation. Cold emailing people, sometimes people criticize it. But if you're calling people and you're emailing people, that's a powerful combination because they've heard from you on the phone, you called their business, then you sent over an email, they're going to open it. The open rates on that, in that context are much, much higher. And if when they open it, they're reading a report like this, a nice professional report showing them, hey, my business listings online, they're really terrible, right? I've got problems here. They're going to listen to you and they're going to take your call the next time you call them. So for marketing purposes, this is a really powerful tool. And when we put together the service set, right, and go back here, when we put together this service set, business listings is a service that fits into that set as a wonderful sort of a fishhook of a service, right? It's an opener service, opening the business relationship because it doesn't cost a lot of money. It fixes an immediate problem that's incredibly obvious. You're showing them, look, I will really fix a real problem for you right away. So if you have your reps push this, there's no reason they can't get, a couple $100 out of somebody and, around $100 a month or less, right? I mean, you're going to sell this service. You're not going to charge an arm and a leg because the idea is that you get them into your ecosystem, right? You get them into Business Center where now they go in, they're getting used to using the system. It's kind of like Facebook, right? They give it away, but then you get addicted to it, right? You get in there and you start using it. You become reliant upon things that it does. That's the same kind of a concept as business listings. It's a service where, you show them a real problem. They can't deny this. There's absolutely 100% honesty in this report. They can go and check themselves any of these sites. So they find out that they've got this major problem from one of your reps. They spend a few $100. They get themselves set up. You price it reasonably, go out there, sell it to them. Now, all of a sudden, they're in your ecosystem. When it comes time to sell them a website, sell them SEO, they're going to come to you, but you don't even have to wait. You're going to get in touch with them. They're in Business Center. They're going to browse the store. You guys know there's a store in Business Center where they're going to get in there and they're going to, browse around, click around, and you're going to get a notification email when they're inside that system, right? That they're in the store and they're looking at SEO or they're looking at a website, they're looking at whatever. All of a sudden, you're getting your contact. Now you're upselling them. Because that absolutely, I guarantee you guys, will happen. When you sell somebody one of these services and you get them into your ecosystem, it's going to, snowball, right? You're going to upsell them. But it's crucial that you understand, that you should be running these snapshot listing scans. You're not going to be build anything and utilizing them when you're, on the phone, you're calling people. Get this out there. It's a wonderful opener. Imagine for a moment you run a business. Let's say you run a restaurant, some small, whatever restaurant. Doesn't have to be small. Maybe it's big. The point is you're running that and you get an email from somebody in a phone call. A guy calls you up and says, hey, I just wanted to see, I run a digital agency. I was looking online. I happened to stumble upon your website and I decided to run a report. Do you mind if I show it to you? Right? What's the guy going to say? No, I don't want the report. Some will, no doubt, but a hell of a lot are going to say, yeah, I'd love to see that. Can you send it over to me? You send it over to them, and then you go get them on the phone and say, hey, I just wanted to call you up just to go over the report with you, to go through this. And you look and you show them, hey, all these different sites, you're not showing up correctly. They're going to take action, right? Because this is like showing them a glaring problem, and it is shocking, guys, how many businesses have these problems. I mean, you're talking, gosh, it's got to be north of 80% have like glaring, horrible problems. In their mind, they're set up when they've got their Google account, right, halfway put together correctly. And even those are messed up, a huge percentage. But they don't know about all these other directories. Then, the impact on the impact on them in search space because of this, the impact on them for people who are using these as primary resources for doing their searches. They're losing business, right? So you're asking them for a tiny little bit of money. You're delivering a high ROI. And that high ROI is what it's all about. Let's see here. You guys have some new questions. I had no idea this existed. It's like living in a house and finding a whole floor you never knew existed. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff here. There's a lot of stuff here. And that's what this webinar is about. Really, it's showcasing it because it's all in there. Right? This stuff's not hidden, but, the Rocket Driver knowledge base, knowing that there's so much more in there and there's so many different tools, There's a lot of stuff here. Another thing I wanted to talk to you guys about a little bit is, search engine optimization. We've done, a couple webinars where we talked about, SEO and using this as the basis for your agency. Lots of you guys have agencies where you have, I don't know, let's say it's a couple dozen to 30 or 40 or whatever number of, website deals. You really should be getting in touch with these people, for SEO, right? And to do that, you don't have to run a snapshot report even. You don't have to do any of those things. All you have to do is contact them and talk about their current search status. I'm thinking next week I'm going to talk about conversations and conversing on SEO a little bit better, because I think that some people are not confident talking about it. But you need to go in here and watch all the materials, read all the materials, absorb it. You don't have to be an expert, but understand the basics of keywords, ranking, long tail versus short tail keyword. The more confident you feel, the better you're going to be when you talk to your current clients about it. You don't want somebody else to come in and snipe your clients when it comes to SEO, because guess what, guys? Next time that site gets rebuilt, it isn't getting rebuilt with you. Not if they're paying somebody thousands of dollars a month to run an SEO campaign. You're going to lose that client. You need to take over that, take responsibility for that need they have. And that starts with educating yourself on how this SEO works, how selling it works, how SEO sales support works, and applying that. SEO sales support, they're there to get on the phone with you and to help you close that client out, right? They're going to go over all the technical minutia, but you need to know the basics, a short tail keyword versus a long tail keyword, how a campaign works, just the basics. I'm even thinking about doing a webinar on the basics just to go over this stuff with you, or maybe even producing some videos on it. I'd like to get your feedback on that. If you guys feel the resources that are here are, conclusively good enough to take care of that need that you have, because I just know there's so much money to be made in SEO. If you guys looked at the data that we have here, where literally in cities like just Los Angeles, just LA, thousands of searches a month. People or businesses are typing in Los Angeles SEO every single month, thousands, one city, thousands of leads, thousands of people. So there's a whole ocean of prospects out there, and connecting with them. Many of you have already done it. You've gotten past the hardest part. Those are your clients. Their site's not making them money. All they're reading about and seeing when they go on social media and they look around is people with businesses, websites that rank, and they're making tons of money. So of course they want to rank. And you have a very affordable solution right at your fingertips to be able to go and make that happen for them in a really big way. And everything about our campaigns is spelled out here in detail, really is. Take the time, read it, look through it. If you have questions, if you're reading through this and you go, this doesn't make sense, I need to know something, hit support, or even fire me an email. You can email me, email jake@rocketdriver.com. I'd like to look at it. If anything's confusing you, the odds are it's confusing other people. So I'd like to fix that problem for you as best I can. So definitely. And of course, SEO resources. When it comes to SEO as a service, we'll go back to Intercom. There's so much inside Intercom for SEO as well, right? There's explanations, there's example contracts, which is, kind of important. If you guys want that. And of course, a lot of this stuff is linked over here. We got the proposal and contract there. But when you go through here, right, and you look at it, it's going to give you an explanation of local SEO, local marketing, blending SEO with other services, which is a big, big thing. You're going to find, and statistically, I know this is an absolute factoid, that businesses will buy not just one service, they'll buy a whole bunch of services from a given agency, right? So if a business buys SEO from you and they see, wow, I'm moving up in rankings and I'm getting leads, my phone's ringing, what else do you have for me? You go back, you go and sell them, Omni-Channel, which works, in tandem with SEO brilliantly. You go and you sell them reputation management, protect them online. And something else to mention here that I wanted to go over is also about reputation management. Something that you guys need to know about reputation management is that reputation management is not just for protecting someone's reputation online. It's not just monitoring them, and it's not just building them a good reputation, because you guys know that if you've watched the vids. It's also a business intelligence tool. There are many, 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 many businesses that have a great deal of interaction with the public, right? Like, let's say that somebody runs a bar and they have ladies' night, right? Or they have singles night, or they run some kind of thing, right? And it could be a venue like a restaurant, could be a venue like I don't know, an art gallery, a local sporting arena, a local bowling alley, any kind of business that has a great deal of tremendous, interactivity relative to a venue for a given business, right? If that's going on, they don't know they don't have anything to give them feedback about what people are saying online after they do stuff. So they can do something really stupid and they don't have a clue that it's stupid. They're going to judge it, of course, only on profit, but many things are stupid and still profitable, ironically enough, that they could fix, right? Problems they've got. Like people typing, wow, they have really grubby bathrooms, or that the staff was very rude. They're not getting that feedback instantaneously. They don't know. They have to wait until a problem erupts like a volcano. With reputation management, if they're running that, they can get feedback instantly, because what it does is it goes online and, of course, it parses all the different review sites. We know that already, but it also looks for mentions all across social media, where a lot of people, they aren't going to go and write a negative review, but they're going to type online, yeah, spent the night out at so-and-so's restaurant, really disgusting bathrooms, or spent the night out at so-and-so's bowling alley, very rude staff. They type that on social media, they get that feedback. That can be very, very, very powerful for businesses. And it's not every business, of course, doesn't apply to everybody. A lot of businesses, feedback could mean less. They could care less and it's not going to apply. But the businesses that do care, businesses that are, kind of in that mid to larger tier sort of, business, especially organizations where they're hosting events, they're running events, they want to know what people are thinking about them so they can make changes to better accommodate their customers, to reach out to new customers, conducting marketing campaigns. That's a real powerful tool, guys. It tremendously, tremendously is. And it's a big, big advantage of our reputation management versus others. Most people's reputation management, just to let you guys know, boils down to this. Most reputation management is somebody wrote something nasty about you online. We're going to go and write a whole bunch of lying, fake, positive things. We're going to hire a little army of people on the other side of the world to go and use proxies and go online and write all kinds of fake reviews. That's what it boils down to. That's what it is for most ORM companies. That is not what we do here. Because number one, if you get caught doing it, you can get really severely punished. If you write fake reviews, you can get, barred from sites. You can get sandboxed. Website can be sandboxed. All kinds of bad things. Sandbox meaning it's not picked up by Google. You can get penalized and punished in a whole myriad of ways. We don't do anything black hat here at Rocket Driver, and that's very important to know as well. But when you're looking at this from 50 feet back and you're looking at, how this stuff works, the reputation management that we have is incredibly, incredibly potent, because we're building that positive reputation for somebody, right? We're going out, we're building a positive reputation by soliciting their customers to write authentic reviews and to have authentic video reviews and to have authentic, monitoring where we have somebody respond on behalf of the business. That's not unethical. That's completely ethical. The business owner's busy. They can't write online. They don't have the ability to monitor all the review sites. We do. So we go and we do that for them, and we give them the opportunity to respond as well. And we help protect their reputation that way. When you compare what we've got, and then you combine that with Business Center and all the intelligence that it gives to the business to see mentions of their name online, and this thing is running continuously. So they get like up to the minute play-by-plays of what's going on social media with my name, with my business. Anything that's mentioning that business on social media, it's all going to pop up right there. They can see it. So it's like they're in a control deck staring down like a spaceship onto the earth, right? Very, very powerful. When you add that up, our reputation management blows away anybody else, anyone that I know of, really. And the price point, it's a joke. It's so cheap, guys. You can make so much money on ORM from us. And, and of course, Omni-Channel. Omni-Channel is incredibly, incredibly powerful. And it applies, again, it's one of those services that applies to certain businesses more than others. Not every business needs people. They don't need the intelligence of tracking and marketing to people who visit a physical location. There's businesses that don't, right? Businesses that run sales reps who travel out to other people's locations, for example, or businesses that rely upon selling online or selling things via mail order, or service businesses. They don't all. It doesn't apply to everybody, but those it applies to, it really applies when you're talking about a business that's selling boats or airplanes or cars, or selling timeshares, or selling just about anything. Realtors, high-end realtors. You're in any city and you have buildings, right? Rental buildings where, like, say you're in New York, some of those rentals are $5,500, $6,500. Hell, some of them are $10,000 a month. Every person that comes and checks out that location is a prospective buyer, not just for the real estate for that building or a renter for that building even, but there's somebody that can be sold to from other buildings that might be nearby. So Omni-Channel can work really well for that, where we can hone in on that precise prospect using the GPRS coordinates of their phone and sending them ads that track them everywhere, that show up on their desktop, their laptop, their phone, and follow them around device to device. So again, a very powerful tool. Let's see here. Yeah, Doug's saying he didn't know that reputation management could monitor online mentions. Really important to know that, right? That's a very powerful feature. When you think about that, right? Say you're running a business, right, that does events, event marketing or anything where you do an event, right? And you find out all kinds of stuff literally by looking at what's going on, seeing the feedback. Huge benefit that you have. You don't get any of that. You have no way. Basically, guys, most reputation management does absolutely nothing to improve your reputation. Nothing durably good. It's designed to suppress a negative online review. That's what it's designed to do. Burying your head further in the sand, right? What we're doing is we're building an authentic, positive review, and we're giving the business owner the tools to really shape and cultivate their reputation online, right? Because they're seeing what people are saying that aren't negative reviews. That's not negative reviews. It's people just on social media, typing, tweeting, putting up posts. Maybe they're posting their friends on Facebook wall, on forum sites, and so on and so forth. It's going to scan, a vast swath of the web, and it's going to give us that information back, where now we can say, hey, I'm doing this right and that wrong, or my reputation is starting to be that I have a great restaurant, or maybe it's screwed up in some way, or maybe this dish that I have, lots of people are saying it tastes disgusting. It hasn't elevated to a level where they're slamming me, but I better get on that and fix that problem right now. Or tells you something where you go, hey, I think people really like, when we do this at the business versus that. Let's do more of it. Very, very powerful stuff, guys. If you guys have any questions whatsoever for me, like anything at all, feel free to punch it into chat. And if there's any questions I missed, because I saw some stuff scroll by and I didn't get to read it all. If you have a question I haven't answered, or something you'd like me to talk about or go over, by all means, guys, please just fire away in chat. And I'd be happy to answer your questions. Otherwise, I'm going to start talking about some other stuff here, because there's some other things that I think you guys really need to understand. One of the other things is website personalization, because it's so unique and it's so powerful. Basically, guys, when you talk about website personalization, the easiest example I know of is, let's say it's a holiday, right? Let's say we have a website and Christmas rolls around, and you want your website to deliver some specific message on Christmas. If your website has personalization, it intelligently knows the date and time that it is Christmas, and you have content you produced back in June or whatever to put in there that now will show up on that date and not show up on any other date. You can have your website designed in such a way so that, depending upon a person's geographic proximity, depending upon time of day, depending on the holiday, depending on a myriad of different features, rather different triggers, different content displays itself. Like, you could have the entire site, for example, let's say the background here. The background here is these three people just standing in front of this thing. It's an illustration. But let's say the background was a morning, a dawn, right? You could have that image of dawn up there in the morning, and midday you could have an image of a sun up in the sky, and at the end of the day you could have dusk, right? You could have three different images that rotate based on the time of day. Then you could have another thing layered on top of it where a person goes to your site, and that individual that goes there, if they visit once, they get one message. They visit twice, they get a coupon presented to them. They visit 3 times, they get an even better coupon. They visit 4 times, they get a, are you interested in our products? Talk to somebody message pop up. So that trigger. You can have different message based on geography. Let's say you run a hotel, right? Just as an example, let's say you run a little motel, hotel, whatever, and you're running that, and you want to have different messages for people that are 5 states away than people who are right there in town, right there in town. You may want to have a message that says, hey, cheapest overnight rates. We've got a restaurant bar attached to us. Come and party, come and hang out. This is a wonderful place to do whatever, do your, hang out, go out to eat. Somebody 5 states away, they're interested in maybe going on a vacation. Maybe they're interested in a family-friendly aspect of the hotel, that you've got stuff there, you have a pool, you have this and that. So what you can do is you can emphasize different features, then they'll show up based on geographic proximity. So somebody right there, in town gets a different message than someone far away. Holidays, time of day, there's a whole list of triggers, and you are not limited in terms of what events happen because of that, right? And events meaning the content changes depending upon that trigger, right? Different messages for people showing up at different times and different locations. And it's tremendously powerful. You can really get into it and build sites that are absolutely world-class. And why it matters so much is, if you look at statistics, personalized messaging is something like 90 times as effective as unpersonal messaging or depersonalized messaging. Google themselves puts this out there, 90% rather, not 90 times. That'd be crazy. 90%. If you guys go and you look that up online, Google themselves talks about it. It's why the feature exists. When you are up against it in a website sales scenario where your competitors over there and they've got some, cheesy WordPress site, and they're like, it'll do this and it'll do that. Well, will it do personalization? Because that will spark the imagination once you get the message across of a prospect. When they understand, hey, your website, each and every holiday, it's going to have a different message. When you're closed at the end of the day, it's going to say we're closed. When you're open, it's going to say you're open. It's going to send a message to people in another state that you're the best option for tourists. And it's going to send a message to people in town that you're the best local restaurant or best local whatever. It's going to send things different to people based upon the time of, how many times they visit it. They visit it once, they get this. They visit it 3 times, they get that. And you're going to be able to construct this living, breathing, dynamic website that can do so much for them by comparison to the sort of static, drab, bog standard websites that are out there. That's a big deal, man. That's a huge, huge deal when you think of it from the perspective of the buyer. And that can absolutely push you over the edge to getting a sale, because almost nobody is doing it. Personalization and its impact really hasn't even been felt yet in the industry. I'll tell you guys something about websites. Website development is a slow-moving freight train. It's huge and slow-moving. There are still literally just probably millions and millions of sites that will not work on a smartphone, right? We're almost, we're pushing 15 years into the smartphone revolution, and many haven't done anything about that. But we have millions who have. This move to personalization, if you get the reputation early that this is the kind of site you develop, that you can do this, you will have clients coming to you because they don't even know that this exists yet, right? And if you want an example of personalization that you probably experienced, those of you who use Amazon.com and go in there and, you're buying products, and you know how when you click and you search something, then everything in the ads is always showing it. That's the kind of thing you're having the ability to do. It's a very, very, very powerful feature, especially for e-commerce sites, but really for any business. Really, everybody should have personalization. I just wanted to highlight that because I think that a lot of people get hung up on things that are, as a major sales point. Personalization is a major sales point. Another major sales point is security, right? Security these days, it's become one of those things where you hear it every time when it comes to sites. For whatever reason, there's been a major uptick in hacking and problems with revolving around security in the last 5 years. And so lots of prospects are interested in learning more about your security. you can let them know this is a SaaS-based platform. That means that security updates get pushed out system-wide continuously. We do, port monitoring. We're doing real-time database antivirus updates. Everything with our system is designed around security. Your uptime, it's CDN-based. Showcasing that to them. That this is like a whole bunch of different servers all over the world, and your site is mirrored across all of them. So if one gets knocked out, doesn't mean anything. Won't affect the site's uptime at all. It might load 0.5 milliseconds slower, which is nothing, right? Getting that point across. Let's see here. Doug has a question. Site personalization. Can I have a call to action to capture name and email for a lead magnet for first-time visitors only? Yes, absolutely, Doug. Absolutely, you can. And in fact, if the person's a second-time visitor, like let's say Doug's asking if someone goes to a site, can there be like, I'm assuming you're saying like a pop-up, but it can be anything. It could be a pop-up. It can be a form on the site itself. It could be a big, broad message. It could be a whole content block. You can have whole content blocks that disappear. It could be a whole different homepage. Anything you can imagine. Yes, first-time visitor, it can show up for them. And then second-time visitor, you can have a whole different content block. So, yeah, 100%, Doug, absolutely you can have that, as a feature. Now, I'll tell you guys something else about personalization that I need to mention. Personalization requires additional development. When you're talking about a one-page site that has personalization, we're developing 2 pages. One shows up for visitor 1, and then the second one shows up for visitor 2. You are adding pages to development because, not so much pages all the time. You could be, but most of the time you're adding development work. So that's why personalization needs to get custom quoted, and you need to explain clearly what the prospect wants, the client wants. But I'll tell you guys, I think every single site we build should be website personalization sites. In 2020, not doing this if I was a business owner is just stupid. You're literally, unless your business is like selling fraction of a cent penny stocks or something like that, where you're not making any money, you're definitely worth it. The additional conversion is so worth it. To have that development done is, not much more expensive, and it really should be done every time. Do you guys have any questions whatsoever? If not, we're going to wrap up here in just a few, but I wanted to cover some important topics. I think we did. Everybody go and check out Intercom, really get in that system, tear it up, go inside there and look at everything that's inside, the Rocket Driver knowledge base, utilize everything that's in there. There's just so much stuff. Allison did a really, really great job putting stuff up inside there and making that system, very flush with content. And, it's a really great resource. I'll be honest with you guys. I use it. I go inside the system and I look stuff up because we have so many services. We have so much going on, and there's so much great stuff in here that, I grab stuff out of here to send to you guys when you ask me questions and we have meetings and stuff. I have it up. I have Intercom up inside of a browser almost all the time. So any questions, guys? If you guys don't have any, the next couple minutes, I'm going to wrap up here. I just wanted to cover these topics. I wanted to show you guys the systems we have, the knowledge base, and, go over some important service info. Thank you, Edward. Thank you. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff there. Let's see here. Yeah, Stu's asking, what exactly, what service combinations make the most sense? Well, Stu, I'll tell you this, guys. When you're asking that, that's a tough question because every single situation is different. I will say this, generally speaking, okay, so this is not universal. A website and SEO is the most standard sort of combination. However, it's getting to be you need a website SEO and reputation management. And of course, you really kind of need them all. When you think about it, you need business listings. You're going to have a business online, business in 2020, you're not in the directories. No, you're going to need that. You're going to have a business that gets its reputation torn to ribbons because you're a little cheap on, having someone do monitoring. No, you're going to do that. You're going to want to rank. You're going to have SEO on a website. You're going to have a website. So you're going to have, there's a need for all of these. The only ones that are situational, I would say, are social media marketing because some businesses do it in-house. and they do a good job. Some don't. And Omni-Channel, because there are situations where a business does not need that that type of marketing service performed. Let's hear Edward with business listing sales. Is that something where the client's issues are fixed and no need for future use from us after a few months? I mean, once all the listings for the client have been corrected, do they still need business listings assistance? Yes, they do, Edward. And the reason for that is that what happens with business listings, this is the primary reason why there's a monthly fee associated with it. Number one, you have the platform itself where they can go in there and they can take a look at all the dynamic stuff that's going on with their business listings online, right? They have analytics, they have reporting, they can see what's going on online with them, you know, where traffic is coming from. So they have all this stuff, and that's all fine and good. But you also have to consider that what happens is people steal other people's business listings, right? They go and they screw them up. Competitors do this. It really happens where you have that going on. With this, we're locking that business listing down where that business's listing is now like almost like their property. Nobody can come and modify it, request changes to it, you know, falsify information or screw them up. So their business listing online in all these directories is basically effectively locked for all time, for as long as they're paying, right? So it is something that is a service, and it has to be sold that way. Because if they just fix them, right? Like this is what'll happen. Let's say we go in and we fix them all one time. We go, hey, you know, they're fixed. They're good right now. What happens is they drift around. Changes get made. Phone numbers get edited. Addresses get changed. And you can, you know, you guys can really, you can look this up for yourselves. You go online, you go and look, and you take a look at what's going on with various businesses. You'll see that their addresses are like all different and their phone numbers are all screwed up. You know, I've got this guy over here, this place, right? How did these get all missing and screwed up? How do we have wrong names, right? Somebody thinks he's Johnny G's Italian restaurant and the place is named Angelo's Pizza. How the hell did that happen, right? That happens because there's drift to it, right? They're pulling from other databases, wrong information gets in, they get messed up. We're protecting for that. All right, I'm going to take a couple more questions here, guys, and then we're going to end the webinar. Would SEO support be able to help out with price once they know the type of business and location? No, Tom, no, they would not. They're not going to give you a price that you should charge. They're going to look at the hours, right? So they're going to say, for you to compete, they're looking at it like a scientist and saying, okay, irrespective of price, for this business, for your industry, business type, website, everything that you've got, you need this many hours to be competitive. Below that isn't worth your time. That's where they're going to end right there. They're going to tell you what you charge is up to you. Okay. What you actually go and charge them. Let's see here. Doug, thanks for comprehensive answers. Great training tonight. Thank you, Doug. All right, guys, we're going to wrap up tonight's webinar. Thank you, Asher, as well. It was great talking to all you guys as always. I'd love to do this more often in the future. We will be bringing on some additional training stuff. We've got a lot of stuff in the works here. Guys, I'll tell you what, there's going to be a lot of really great changes coming down the line for Rocket Driver and for all of you as well. You know, new services, new stuff is going to be on the way in the future. Lots and lots of things in 2020 are still haven't manifested themselves. We got Rocket Driver 3.0 out there. You guys are in it. If there's anything you'd like to see added, changed, any questions, any comments, or if you'd just like to book some time to talk, you can always email me, jake@rocketdriver.com, and I am very available. That's jake@rocketdriver.com. All right, guys. Love to hear from you. Have a good one, everybody. Good night.